So to answer your question in terms of what did it do, I would come to Zim every year to do a show.
Okay.
Right? I would come to Zim, either Harare, it was Harare and Bulawayo.
Right.
Not being able to do that now, it hurts.
So no one is booking you, kind of.
No, I would facilitate my own shows,
you would.
but
Okay.
I'm very self-aware to know that
The repercussions.
the
of
repercussions.
that.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I know people are not going to come out. If they do, it's not going to be pretty. People are upset.
The motherland, the African man. Long as I'm alive, I'ma make a plan. Strongholds to break, got long walks to take, got no votes to make. We don't bet, we pray. Hey, African man, yeah. The African male iris through the eye of an African male.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome once again. I'm so happy to be back. And I missed you guys. You know, I missed sitting on the white couches. And so we're back with a really, really cool episode. Like, I can't wait to get into this one. Because we have a friend of mine. Like, we've been getting a lot of, other people, which are like Tino's colleagues and acquaintances. So I'm happy that this guy is my guy. And man, thank you for joining us again for another episode of the African Male Iris podcast, man. We're excited. Tino, how are you feeling, bro?
I'm feeling good that I don't have to be doing the intro all the time.
Yes.
No, but I'm happy.
Yeah, but you look more relaxed, bro. Like you were on holiday or something.
Yeah, and I think the hat thing you'll figure it out when we start talking to our guests.
Right. Okay. Cool.
I had to do it in honor.
In honor.
So, ladies and gentlemen, please make some noise for the one and only Q-Dube. Yes.
What up, man?
How you doing, brother?
I'm good, man.
You right?
I'm good. I'm lacquer.
I just have to say, man, anyone who was at Laugh Africa, I'm seeing this guy on stage. This guy was hilarious.
Thank you, my brother.
Bro.
My wife and I were in tears, man.
Thank you, man. Thank you, man. I
That's so
appreciate
nice.
it.
Is it coming out on Showmax, by the way?
Yes. It's coming out on Showmax, so it's officially my first special.
Wow.
So it's all those are gonna be cut into specials.
Nice.
Yeah. So when I got
that
the
is
call,
dope.
it was like, yo, I was telling him outside, like I got the call.
But no, he's arrived. He's arrived.
I've got in here. I was supposed to turn all of this off.
Right.
Yeah. So I got the call to say, hey man, we would like you for this thing. And I won't lie, like I didn't fathom how serious it was.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Until I got there. So on the Friday was the roast of Mini Dlamini. And
I saw that, yeah.
Yeah, so when they first announced that, I'm like, wait a minute, what?
Ooh.
And then they announced Eddie Griffin is the headliner. I said, whoa. Then they said it's at Santon Convention Center.
Then you were like,
Then
these
I'm
are
like,
the signs.
damn. Then I wrote 30 minutes and then I pitched up on the Friday for the roast of Mini Dlamini. And I saw the setup. Like you saw that.
Yeah.
That was insane.
beautiful.
Bro.
Right.
We were
Beautifully put
also
together.
surprised. Eh?
Yeah.
Right.
We just bought tickets because the tickets were very reasonable.
Right.
Just like, it's going to be another, just a small
Comedy night.
Yeah,
Yeah.
We're just like, wow, this
Wow.
is big. Eh?
Dog.
Yeah.
Friday, our set is Saturday.
Right.
I ripped my jokes when I got home at 11. I started kind of writing on my phone on the Friday, but got home, ripped the paper, and then Saturday, my set couldn't come together. Like, it couldn't. So as the doors were opening, I'm literally trying to remember what I'm going to do. People are clapping. I'm like, hey, whatever happens here happens, man. Like, I go out. So it was fun, man. It was
Nice,
fun. Blessings. Blessings.
nice.
Yeah, man.
Cool, man. So for those people that don't know Q, I wanna read a bio here.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, this is from the internet, Q, so you can stop me any moment and say,
Okay.
that's a lie.
All right. Let's see what they lied about.
So Q-Dube, real name is Ngobizita Mitchell Dube. I didn't know your name was Mitchell.
Yeah, bro. I said, oh gosh.
Such a white name.
Oh, at least that's what you said. At least you said white.
This means Q went to a private school or something. So for those who don't know Q, Q is a stand-up comedian, radio personality, TV presenter, actor, voiceover artist, wedding and corporate function MC, and scriptwriter. Sounds like an Indian dude. Like many jobs. He's got notable appearances on TV as a TV presenter on CoolSoundsYouth.com, Mawan Scandal TV, acting jobs on The Small House Saga, Studio 263, radio jobs on ZFM Stereo, Power FM, and theater acting as well. Festivals, Choco Festival in Twasa, Haifa, countries toured, South Africa, Swaziland, United Kingdom, USA. Bro, that's a lot. And then you've got some awards here. Best Outstanding Actor nominee and Outstanding Comedian, 2017.
Yeah. Wow. So that's the older. That's the older.
That's
bio.
an older bio.
Yeah.
Okay, please.
Yeah, some countries have been added
Right.
since we've been doing that.
Right.
Nah, but it's blessings, bro. It's like, you know, also being from Zim,
Right.
and you sometimes don't realize what you've done because it's such a struggle. Unless,
Yes.
you know, you become a jar praiser who gets that hit. Not to say he didn't struggle, but, you know, you get that thing and then you end up...
Yeah.
For some of us in this, like comedy, for example, I started in 2004 doing Cool Sounds. And, yeah. So when I read back now that you're saying it,
bro,
I'm like,
that's
oh, man.
20 years
ago,
now.
Yeah. That's when I started,
crazy.
2004.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That's a passion for you.
Yo, it's a Also, it's like, guys, this is what I know, bro. You put a science book in front of me. I can't. I've tried.
That is hectic,
This is
bro.
it. This is what I know. Anything creative, I got you.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So basically, I mean, what would you say then that in sort of your creative journey, you then found that comedy was the main thing?
Yes.
Or did you kind of just try out different things, not knowing what it would be?
I think because comedy was the last one. So
Right.
I started. It was TV presenting, then acting, dabbling in music, rapping,
Okay.
and then stand up.
So you've got bars. Like if we asked
Hey,
you to
man.
do, if we asked you to do like 8 bars.
I don't know if I have them off the top of my head. Wait, let's see.
Yeah, just
Yes,
go.
I have. Wait,
Go,
let's see.
go.
let's see,
Just
let's
give
see.
us 8. Give us an 8.
So I used to be called Q the Boss. That was my rap name.
Yes, I remember Q the
Yes,
Boss.
Yes. Until my
remember
father
Q the
found
Boss.
out. It's like,
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
a boss when? When are you a boss in this house? In this house. Wait, so what? If I'm Q the Boss, then you are just an intern. Screaming no boys allowed like Kerry Hilson. I am Mr. Anderson and you are Lawrence Fishburne. My car's real racist. It's German. Hitler. Yeah. It was those type of bars back then.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Awesome.
Dope, man.
Yeah, back in the day.
Cool. So in your journey, you tried out a couple of things, and then comedy was the last.
Yeah. Comedy
Yeah.
was the last
When
one.
how did you know? Like, how did you know that was the thing?
I was actually pushed by cousins who would say, yo, dude, go do this. Because by then I would mimic a lot of the Kings of Comedy, that DVD. So I would mimic it quite a lot, especially Bernie Mac.
Iconic.
Yes, the iconic one. So they were like, no, try it. Like, just go try. Then I went with an uncle of mine, Lutuli Dlamini. They had a spot called the Blues Room in Santon. This was back in 2010.
Yes, I remember the Blues Room.
Yeah, so we went over there and the lineup, I think Loiso was hosting, Trevor was headline, Dave Livingston was support, Tall Asmo was open mic.
Right.
And so, we're chilling and what I'm like, Uncle, can I jump on? So I think I had irritated him enough. Then he was like, all right, let's go backstage. Then we went backstage, got there, and he opens the door and he's like, guys, he says he can do what you guys do. And then he pushed me in and closed the door. And
Oh,
that
no
was
way.
it, bro.
Wow.
I swear to you, that
Are
was
you
it.
serious?
Trevor was like, give him 3 minutes before me. If he
Trevor
thinks,
Noah?
Yeah, he was like,
Wow,
if he thinks
wow.
this is easy, give him 3 minutes before me. And my first 2 jokes, I don't remember exactly what they were, but they got a reaction.
All right.
Then I got booed off.
Right.
Yeah, then I got booed off stage because it was 3 weeks before the World Cup. Right. So I mentioned, the World Cup, da-da-da-da-da. But you guys know you're not making it past the first round, right? They said, you see now. Ooh. I got off, bro. I got
Right,
off. That was that. That was
Okay.
that. But then you do it again and again and then. So I went back to Zim to join like Wosimuka and what.
Right.
After having started it here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was the thing, man.
How was it, man, rubbing shoulders with the current
Great.
giants?
I
now?
didn't know that.
At that time,
Do you know
eh?
what I mean? I didn't
Yeah.
know. Like Trevor then, I think, had just put out Daywalker. So yes, he was bubbling. He
first
was
one,
the
yeah.
guy. You know what I'm saying? Loiso was the guy. But to think they would be this
big.
at that point, you didn't know. You're respecting them as the guys you see. But when you then see what they've then come to become, it's like Jesus Christ. So yeah, man, it's one of those, bro.
Brilliant, man.
Yeah.
That is awesome. So what would you say? When was the moment that you knew that you were going to be good at this? Like I have a moment with my music
Okay.
where it was just another gig and I'm just trying to figure this thing out. And because I had been doing a lot of work in behind the scenes and a lot of practice and a lot of small events and whatever, I just got this one shot and I performed at some place. It was a celebration center.
Okay.
And I got my first standing ovation.
Oh, nice.
And in that particular moment, I knew I was an entertainer. Like I knew it was my thing. I knew that I'd probably be interested in doing other things, but that is that moment. So I want to know what that moment was for you, where you did a set and everyone's like, "Oh my gosh, this guy is hilarious."
I think for me it could have been that day because
Right.
it was my very first time.
Okay.
And I got, like I said, the first two jokes, they got actual reactions. Like it was
Right.
actual laughs. And so, and then understanding why I messed up. So it's like, oh, I shouldn't have said that. I was cruising. So
Yes.
for me, that was like, no, man, I'm going to come and I'm going to do it again.
I can do it again.
You know what I mean? But then there've been moments, I think the first time my dad came with a newspaper article, and I didn't know I was in I'd forgotten I spoke to some journalist at Book Cafe.
Right.
And then they profiled me. And so the old man comes back and is like, oh, I saw you in the paper. And for the first time, he had that look of, okay,
proud
this
look,
might work.
This might be a thing.
You know what I mean? And so, yeah, because for him, I had switched from TV presenting to acting, from acting to, and then I dabbled in music, and then now I'm doing
Radio
comedy.
presenting as well.
Yeah, and he's like, radio presenting happened towards the end. I actually moved here after I got fired from Power FM. So
There's a story. there.
yeah, I got fired. I was bad, man. I was bad.
That is dope. Do you know what? For me, the day I knew that comedy was your thing was because I knew you from the The Boss days.
Okay.
Because I'd been like, asking around studios and whatever. And then they're like, no, this is a place where these artists record. And then they would just throw names. And I'd be like, yeah, I don't know these guys, But I remember hearing The Boss.
Okay.
I think it was in Greencroft.
Yes, Greencroft. Yeah.
So
ESP
it
studio,
was some
yeah.
studio there and whatever.
Yeah.
And then I remember going to one of the first Shoko festivals.
Okay.
And
okay.
Q was the host
I
of
remember
that
that
comedy show.
Okay.
And so Q goes up and I'm like, shit, this guy does comedy. And his first joke, bro, like I cannot get over it. Q goes up and he's like, I've just been thinking, do you think that when deaf people see us yawning, they think we're screaming?
That was the opener.
Dude, I just cracked.
Yo, bro.
I cracked up.
Snap, I'd forgotten about
And it
that.
was one of those edgy jokes.
Yes, of course.
Where
It's,
you're just
it's
like,
a touchy
oh,
one.
is it sensitive? Or is it,
one
but
that- yeah.
people just couldn't help it. But
just
everyone
laughed.
just cracked up, bro. And Q was just the host. Like he didn't have a full set.
Exactly.
But he
you
was
know
just
what?
getting.
I've seen that with comedy that most of the time, the host is actually fun. Some of the times, the host is funnier than the actual people on the lineup.
But Q, do you think that's
of the
because
times.
they've got less time? So
I think maybe. Yeah.
I think so, but also so the lineups are curated like that. I don't know if that one was the thought process behind it, but usually the lineup is curated like the host and the closer have to be strong.
The funniest.
Yeah, they have to be very strong because the host is the first person they
you
see.
engage
And
So
he's
he
a
has to,
constant.
yes, and he's a constant, so he has to do the thing. That one was my first festival, like I said. I don't know if Comrade Fatso and crew thought about it that way,
Right.
but now from experience, I know that's how they kind of put the thing
Right,
together.
right.
But yeah, I remember that one, man, with Clive Chikubu as well as
Clive.
Carl
Oh my gosh, man.
and John Vlismus.
Yes.
Yes.
He was
yes.
the, he was
the
closing.
headliner. Yes.
I could not believe how funny he was.
No, John.
John is like strong.
Incredibly smart as well.
Very.
Yo,
very.
incredibly smart, bro.
Yeah, so I want to get into that.
Right.
The creative space.
Mm-hmm.
Like what are your thoughts on the South African creative industry?
And maybe just to say, when you say creative,
Right.
What industries are you talking of?
Okay.
Mm.
So in this context, I guess
Yeah.
I'm referring to anybody who's creating something.
Okay.
You could be making something, could be art, could be craft, could be comedy, could be music. As long as you're creating something.
All right.
That's kind of the space that I'd like to sort of dabble in, because I'm a creative myself.
Right.
And I feel like because the creative space is not so formal, there's a lot of gaps and a lot of training that doesn't happen until you sit down with someone who's done it for 20 years, right? And then you actually have conversations. In those conversations is when you actually start seeing that it could be a module in high school or a module in college, where you're just taught all of the things that Q actually had to learn the hard way. And then that way you attend creative class. So when you attend creative class, then you start understanding, if I have a creative gift, it's potentially a business. It could be a passion. Then you know the difference. Then you know what makes it a business, what makes it passion. And then you kind of have a full scope before you get into it. Because I feel like half the time we get into it and we see the promise of it, and then we see the work. Then you go through like, bro, maybe 10 years, 15 years. Then it starts making sense around year 7, year 8. Then it becomes like a legitimate thing. And for some people, it's obviously, shorter time. For some people, it's longer time. For some people, they just sort of figure out the business end of it. So everything else falls into place quicker.
Yeah.
But I just want to know your thoughts on, what do you think about the South African creative industry?
Funny enough, you talk to South African creatives and they'll still tell you there's a lot of work to be done. But coming from where we're from,
yes,
it's so organized. Do you know what I mean?
100%.
It's so organized, man, and so well put together. And from a production standpoint, right? Not only the thing itself, like from production, the music. If you listen to piano, for example.
Yeah.
And I know I'm going to be controversial here, but there's no reason Zim Dancehall still sounds the way it does.
Okay.
Do you understand? When you listen to the quality, I love Zim Dancehall, but when you listen to the quality, it's so distinct.
Right.
The difference.
Right.
And you are like, that could be a contributing factor to why people will come out here versus there. Same thing with the jokes, right? When you're looking at, I tell the young comics all the time, grind, bro. You need to grind. There's no way your jokes still sound like this. You know what I mean? Grind. I don't know what you need to do, but that determines why people came for Edgar Langeveld. People came out for Michael K. People came out for Carl Joshua Ncube.
Right.
Regardless of what people say about Carl, I think he's a very funny guy.
Carl's a funny guy, bro.
Very funny.
Hate him or love him, Carl's a funny guy.
Carl is a funny guy.
Yeah.
And we are seeing the same with Gandor, right? Gandor is hilarious.
Yo.
And I love that boy's thinking, and you can tell the quality behind the material, which makes it easier for the consumer to say, I'm going to go watch.
Yeah.
You get what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I feel like for us, we needed to come together from a quality standpoint first. I mean, you see it with Oliver, right? The late. His quality in music was just impeccable. And then his peers, who maybe were parallel in terms of the genre they were in.
Yeah.
But it's like, I don't care if the riff in your guitar is that. Can it sound quality? You get what I mean?
Right.
Can it sound quality so that it's easier to translate it outside to people who are... There's someone who once told me about a famous Zim Dancehall guy. And he was being introduced to American producers.
Right.
And they played the American producers the hit that was currently a hit with us.
Right.
And they said, oh, okay, I can't wait to hear the mastered version. And the guys were like, no,
This is it.
this is it. Do you know what I'm saying? So all those things. I mean, we had also you did like very dope things with outside of like your music, right? Prayer became prayer for a lot of us because it was like, okay. You know what I'm saying? It's like, finally, I lost myself and I think I'm losing my mind.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's like, okay, there we go. And you had songs where you would sing in Shona and the like. And it's, you know, Tarirone Kitare is another, Chiwoniso is one. If everyone pushed from that perspective, from that quality perspective, then it makes it easier even to collaborate, right? To do things. I want to pitch something to you since, you know, the times that we are here, we do a comedy and music night, right?
Beautiful.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You DJ, so we can do that. I can host the thing, maybe do 30 minutes. You come on, you do your hour. I come back, I do 10.
Doing a set.
We close the set with the DJ.
Close with the DJ.
100%.
You know what I mean? It makes it easier because I know who and what Prayer Soul is and what he brings.
Right.
And I'm not going to have people there like, you were good, but hey, that guy, what was up with? So I found that from this side, from a quality point of view, from comedians to musicians to theater. I went to watch a theater production, no known actor, but I was like, Jesus Christ. Everything is just pushed from a quality. It's not just you know what I mean? And that investment.
We also went to see a Michael Jackson tribute at Joburg Theatre. It was amazing.
It's fire.
No, I do have to give a big shout out to like South African creatives. I think maybe because when you're born here, you sort of get used to what the standards are.
Correct.
And if there's competition, then you just accept that that's the way it is. If the structures are there and you're not happy with certain things, you're just not happy with that.
Yeah.
But just in comparison with the Zimbabwean creative industry, I would definitely say, I think because there's more competition here, there's definitely better quality. Like I remember my first gig in Pretoria, I was the actual like special guest.
Okay.
Because I'd just come back from tour. I'd just come from Norway, I think. And I actually landed in Joburg, spent a night in Joburg, then I was in Pretoria. On my way back to Zim. And I was the guest. Guys,
Fire.
like the musicians that performed that night blew me away.
Yeah.
I could not believe the chemistry they had with each other. And the culture's very different. Like when someone has a band, they have a band and they are a band for years, right? Until they either make it or they don't. But in Zim, it's like, you know, you get this guy, you borrow this guy, and then if Q's doing something, then Q's going to get him.
Right.
Then, you know, he's going to get someone else. So you can put up a good show, but then the chemistry of knowing each other for years and then playing together and like playing together on stage or performing or whatever it is, you kind of like, I mean, if you had a co-writer that you write with for years, it becomes easier to prepare for shows. It becomes easier to give clients what they want, to sell value basically. You know? And I feel like that is such a big thing. And I feel like that is a thing that we're slowly seeing in the Zim creative space.
It's coming up.
Last night, bro, I have to tell you, I haven't been like properly in the entertainment space for a while, right?
Okay.
And I was itching to watch King Gandor perform. So my wife surprised me. She got me the tickets.
The ticket got you.
For my birthday.
Oh yeah, happy birthday.
Oh, happy birthday.
Thank you,
Those
Jen.
birthdays just a
Jen,
few days
birthday
ago.
with your own
yes. Yo, I thought I was old until at the gym, someone was like, "Oh, it's your birthday," and I was like, "Yes." And they're like, "How?" And I was like, "How old are you?" And I was like, "Take a wild guess."
Yeah.
And then I think she said something like 20, 28, 29.
Oh, snap.
And I was like, "Yeah, let's go."
Yeah, that's fine. That's
like,
fine.
let's go
Let's
with
keep it at 28, 29.
Bro, I need to tell you about King Gandor's show, bro. It was epic.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, I got Dave Chappelle vibes, like very well thought out and very witty.
Yeah.
You know, and it's rare to have that. Like, I mean, you have to be somewhat of a bit of an intellectual to also catch everything. Because he was talking about the politics. He was talking about just thinking, identity, Zimbabwean identity. He was talking about, just the relationship between Zimbabwe and South Africa, and it had been such a long time since I'd heard that kind of comedy.
Yeah.
Right.
Like Carl always brought that sort of vibe where you'd have to be a little smart to like get it, and it would be so funny.
Yeah.
Right. And it was, for me, it was always like Q, Carl, and I also liked, Doc Vikela and his energy.
Right, his energy.
Yeah. And what I noticed then when I was now, like, in the middle of watching the show, I realized the comics got it. They got it better than the musicians got it.
You think so?
Absolutely, bro. Because you know what? Comics can go and do a national tour. Easy,
Yeah.
right? Like if you wanted to do 10 shows, wow.
At least it wasn't me. At least it wasn't me alone. Okay. All right. Yeah.
If you wanted to do a show,
Yeah.
if you wanted to do 10 shows in
Right.
Zim,
Right.
how easy would that be?
Oh, it would. Well, for me personally, right now, I don't think it would. But right now, I don't think it would. But
No. I mean, we can
from
get
just
into that.
general.
Yeah,
Okay, from a general perspective,
yeah.
yes,
We'll come back
yes.
to that.
We'll come back to that. We'll definitely come back to that.
Yeah. But from a general perspective, yes, it would be a tad bit easier.
Right?
Yeah, it would be a tad bit easier. I'm glad Doc Vigela's on tour right now. I saw King Gandor as well.
Yes.
World tour.
World tour.
Yeah, world
Yeah.
tour. Nah, man, he needs to be given his flowers, man. That kid's
100%.
doing his thing.
Yeah,
And like you
no,
said, his wittiness, I like the fact that when I watch him, I can tell he understands what he's talking about.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? I can
Yes.
tell he gets
There's
it.
research there.
Right.
There's
He's
what-
not saying it for shock value or for let me get at this topic. He knows what he's talking about, and I love that, man.
Yeah.
He's super funny. So I was meant to come yesterday, but I had a gig. So I couldn't then make it for his show, but I'll try catch the one that's coming up this week. So yeah, you I think from that perspective, you are correct. For me, music frustrates me so much because the tools are there. Do you know what I mean? Like they're there, like
100%.
YouTube, how to mix this, how to do that. Because talent-wise, let's not play. Zim? Oh no.
No, there's talent.
down.
The amount of
No
band
doubts.
members I've met here, a drummer, a guitarist, an organ player.
Background
Yeah,
singers.
yeah.
All that,
Yeah, Zimbabweans. Casper's organ guy is a Zimbabwean
Zimbabwean,
cat.
Yeah.
I don't remember who
Even
else.
AKA's bass guy.
Bass guy, exactly.
Was
This is a Zimbabwean dude. So we have that talent. Where we miss it now, where we have to make our own, and it's not about changing genre. Don't change genre. Sing Sungura, sing whatever it is. Can it be quality?
Be unique. Eh?
Yes,
Yes.
be unique. The uniqueness, I don't mind it.
Yeah.
Right? But the quality,
Yes.
that guitar shouldn't annoy me. Like that ding 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 ding. It shouldn't, because I've heard similar riffs in Afro jazz.
Exactly.
Right? Your Louis Mhlanga kind of going that
Yeah,
way.
yeah,
and I'm
yeah.
like, but this sounds
Better.
yeah, and so if we worked on those things, and they're unlike sports where it's a more facility thing. For us, let's be honest, as creatives in Zim, it's from us. If we start putting out quality,
Right.
us as creatives, when they come to a comedy show, there's no weak link,
100%.
right? When they come to a music show, they can tell that guitar's old, but damn it, man, the way this came together, then it's easier to have conversations beyond that. When you come to an open mic show, open mic comedy, watch open mic comedians, you're like, yeah, okay, this kid is coming. This kid is coming. Right. And you can tell he took the time. It's not, I want to be on stage. He took the time to say,
I've got a shot.
Right.
I'm gonna make sure that I'm unforgettable.
right.
Yes.
And so we need that amongst our people as Zimbabweans. We are so gifted, man. Like
100%.
so talented. Let's start trying and striving to put out that quality so that when we start having conversations around corporate is not coming to the table. This is what we have.
Yeah.
Then they are also like, okay.
100%.
I saw that you also got a shout out is it Sizwe from Sizwe?
Yes, Sizwe Shlomo.
Sizwe Shlomo, just put him on the tweet.
Yeah. Put me on the tweet. He was in the crowd at the Love Africa thing.
Yeah,
Bro, so this must have been an epic set. Bro.
Yo,
crazy,
dude.
bro.
I saw him, then I kind of riffed on him, then because they're jumbo screens,
that was smart.
then the camera
That was
went on
smart.
him, and it was like boom from there, and so he gave a shout out. So that was super dope, man. That was super dope.
That is crazy.
Yeah, man.
Can't wait to see the show on
The show.
Showmax.
I can't wait to see it.
Let's
So
hope.
Q, that sounds like your career is taking off, like it's growing.
Well, hope so.
Yeah, but there's always ups and downs, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know where you're
please
going.
tell us.
I know where you're going.
Please tell us. So Q had an episode where he went viral because he spoke about armpits.
Yo, man.
Let me know.
And I
bro.
actually had no background to this. You know,
Are you serious?
you know what? I had never come across Q before. Before Life Africa.
Really?
That was my first.
Are you serious,
I'm
bro?
telling you.
Wow,
that's a
that's
good
so
thing.
dope, man.
So when
Like I said, your career is growing.
yeah.
Slowly, bro.
So
Slowly.
when I saw him, that's when I was like, I need to get this guy on our podcast.
Right.
My wife was like, are you sure? You know, my wife was like, are
Oh,
you sure
she
that-"
knew.
No, she was like, no, she didn't know.
Okay.
She's like, are you sure this guy's going to even give you the time of day? You know, because Life Africa looked like,
She was like, this
it
guy
was
is a
an
superstar.
international standard thing. Eh?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was,
Like,
it
I
was
don't
a
know,
huge
but you know
thing.
what? I was just like, I'm just going to try. I'm just going to holler at him, just say, no, we're upcoming podcast. We'd love to have you and stuff. And he responded. My wife's like, he responded. I'm like, yeah.
Well, let me tell you what my wife said.
yeah.
So I'm like, babe, guess who's coming on the show?
Yeah.
Q. She's like, Q-Dube. I'm like, yeah. She's like, are you going to ask him about the armpits? I was like, you know I am.
You know I'm going to do that. So, yeah, when I told my brother, my older brother, that, oh, no, I talked to Q-Dube, he's coming on the podcast.
Right.
He's like, oh, that's the guy who had that incident last year. And I was like, what incident?
But Q, I mean, like,
Right.
okay, give us like some background on
that, yeah.
what that was like, and did it really? Do you feel like it damaged your?
Rip.
Do you feel like it damaged your career, or did it actually just also get you? Because you know, bad publicity is still publicity, and I mean, when Laugh Africa comes out. The people who didn't really know, like who've never seen a full Q-Dube set,
Yeah.
will be like, I remember this guy. He was a guy about the armpits, and then that gets the conversation. But when that thing is playing, they're gonna be like, "Whoa, this dude is
But
funny."
it's funny.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So I want to know if it was really like, was it that bad?
Yeah. I think it was. So the backstory, and I have to admit, I messed up. Right.
Okay.
So the backstory of that is I actually got that from Zimbabweans. So I have my friends, he used to stay in Maboneng at the time.
Right.
So we're going to go link up in Maboneng. And Maboneng didn't have water for that period. I think there were burst pipes that were being sorted. For about a week or two, there was no water. So I get there and my boy is coming back. So we are meeting up and he's like, no, I'm from taking a bath. I'm like, what you mean you're from taking a bath? Because I'd asked him about his bags, right? He's like, no, I'm from taking a bath and doing laundry. We don't have water here. So I had to ask someone to go and shower at their place because I was starting to smell like a Zimbabwean. So we started laughing. And it's just Zimbos. It's just Zimbabweans.
Yeah.
So we laugh, right? And then I do the comic thing of, I'm going to keep that.
Yeah,
I'm going to keep that.
I'm gonna use that.
I'm going to use that one. That is so funny. And we laughed. Dude, we started riffing, adding more and more and more. That's where the other statement of whenever, because someone was like, no, me, when I know I haven't bathed, because when I'm out, people can identify me from my stench.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
Oh, snap. I'm going to keep that. So it was that, right?
Okay.
And then my first attempt at it, I actually shot a video.
Okay.
Right, where I'm urging people, it's summer, it's hot, bath, so that you don't smell like, right? The video didn't do anything, didn't go anywhere. Then, but in my mind, still like, yo, that was super funny. Got onto the podcast that we're doing called Sense Dish. I say it again. Then it takes off and it does the thing. But in my mind, I'm still in funny mode. because of how I received the thing the first time I heard it. No,
And
man,
it
this
was
is a
just
joke.
it was a joke amongst
Zimbabweans.
So it's like you're laughing at
And
ourselves.
do you remember
Right.
when it comes out as a short clip, there's no context.
There's
Right,
never,
right,
there's
right,
never
right.
context, bro. It's
Right.
the internet.
So with that, then, you know, it was, people were up in arms. I'm still in, no, man, you guys are too sensitive.
Yeah.
I make the apology thing, right? I make the apology and then I spray myself with cologne after. I'm still in joke mode.
Right.
Until Walter Wanyanya called me. Walter, shout out to Walter.
Yeah, Walter.
He then says, Mfana, what's this? Right? Reason being, me and Walter were in business in something dope, man.
Right.
Something so dope. Like he had put me in certain rooms we were a quarter to. And so outside of the business interest, he just genuinely called me to say, what is this? Then I said, no, come on, man, Vanu, that's too sensitive. Then he said, no, but have you thought of context here? Right? You are saying this in South Africa to South Africans. Amongst us, fine, right? As you're saying, you heard this as a joke, wherever. Why are you doing this? Bigots are going to get this and run with it. And at that point, then I sat back and then I went through comments. And one thing I can tell you, Zimbabweans know, listen, South Africans know how to roast.
Right.
South Africans will roast the shit up.
No.
Like,
South Africa's like
yeah,
winning on the road.
no, they will cook a celebrity proper. Zimbabweans know how to insult.
Oh my God.
I've never been insulted like that, bro. Like,
Are you serious?
yo. I was insulted hard. So sifting through the insults and listening to what people were saying outside of what the conversation I had with Walter and the conversation I had with a couple of other people, I then said, okay, I get it. I do get it.
Right.
Yeah, I do understand what it is. And if it was, there are certain spaces where I can say I said what I said. You know what I mean? Like the thing we talked about, the music, I really don't care. And the people that are going, I'm going to talk about the guys that keep begging Wicknell for cars. Like, those are little bitches. Like, no, man, you guys make me sick. Like, those guys, I said what I said. But in this context, I was like, I had to be fair and say, no, I messed up. You know what I mean? I really, really messed up. There was no caveat to the thing. There was no, in terms of the South African Zimbabwean context, there was nothing there to say could be a joke, couldn't be, given the history that the two countries share. And I get it. So to answer your question in terms of what did it do, I would come to Zim every year to do a show.
Okay.
Right? I would come to Zim, either Harare, it was Harare and Bulawayo.
Right.
Not being able to do that now, it hurts.
So no one is booking you, kind of.
No, I would facilitate my own shows,
you would.
but
Okay.
I'm very self-aware to know that
The repercussions.
the
of
repercussions.
that. Okay.
Yeah. I know people are not going to come out. If they do, it's not going to be pretty. People are upset, and rightfully so. You know what I mean. So I take that one. I don't know how. Maybe the Life Africa thing, if it comes out, maybe this, whatever it is, at some point, maybe we'll get the forgiveness to say, all right.
Yeah, man. I mean, like, I didn't think it was that deep, to be honest. Maybe because, you know, if you're creative, you're very open-minded. And you also
See,
take it from the
I think that's
context
the
of
thing.
Q is a comedian, guys. Like, you can't really like take it to heart and say this is our identity. So he's basically now just, and so for me, I really did not, you know, take it to heart. I was just like, I know when I meet Q and we talk about this, I'll probably get the whole story. But
Right,
like, for me, it was like, it's not even a, you know.
And I think as a comedian, how do you deal with that? I mean, of course, it's not only that, but there are a lot of jokes that you know people might rub people the wrong way. Some people that don't, you know,
Like easily triggered.
easily triggered. How do you guys as comics handle those kind of scenarios?
So for me, like the reason, like talking about what I was talking about now, I don't believe comics have a comedic license. I don't believe in that. I believe comics still have the responsibility to cater for. Because even I, as a comic, I'll watch someone on stage and be like, this guy's a racist. like this one. This he means this. Like, do you know what I mean? And have a thing against him. It's like, yeah, man. There's no artistic license that gives you the right to bash anyone and whatever. So for me, in that space, I had to say, okay, within Zim, I said what I said. But I had to understand the context that people were saying. Because no one said I was lying, right? Let's be honest. Nobody came out and said you're lying.
Right.
People said where you said this. That's what we have a beef with. You are saying that you're pandering to people who don't like us and who've proven it.
Yeah.
To the extent of lives being lost. That's where, and I said,
and that's fair. And that also then requires that responsibility.
Yes. So for me, I'm like, that's fair. Yeah. I have to take that. That is very fair. And like you saw, my opening joke is I'm from Zim. Yeah. That means one thing and one thing only. I'm not going back. Now, I don't say that to bash Zim. I say that to address xenophobia. So I'm bold enough to stand on stage and say, Linganya, Ambuyele, I'm here. you know what I mean? And that's the responsibility that I've always carried, with always stating I'm from Zim. I've never hidden it. I'm from Zimbabwe and the like. This, I was like, all right, I dropped the ball on this one. And you know, not everything.
Yeah, no, but I think that's, I mean, the fact that, you know, that's your stance, I feel like, I don't think that it'll be an issue to still do a show in Zim. I feel like,
hey, bro, Nick Mangwana was tweeting, dog. Nick was here. I'm like, don't you have better things to do? Like, you watch comedy now? Like, this is. I was like, oh, come on.
Wow,
relevance.
Yeah.
I know. I get it. Then I get it. I mean, but I wanna know your thoughts on. We're gonna get into politics a little bit, like the Wicknell thing. I feel like it's slowly, you know, diluting. I mean, I get it. Like, I get that if I was an artist in Zim and someone just offered me a car, like, generally, I would take it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But if someone's publicly associated with a political party and everyone just kind of knows that there's some play that's going on, and then he's like, yo, I feel like you need to drive a Benz, bro. Like, you know, it's a Benz.
But do you hear the conditions behind it? Like, if Wicknell gets you a car, you do not own the title. It's not under your name.
Yeah.
Really?
You can't.
Yeah, he said that publicly. Actually,
you can't sell it.
Really?
Yeah.
You can't sell it. It's not under your name. You're just using it.
Oh, snap!
It's not yours on paper.
On paper. Oh, snap! I didn't know this.
Yeah, I think he posted this, right?
He posted it.
He posted it and said, you know, this is just to appreciate the artists so they can have access to like a nice car and whatever. And but in terms of the paperwork stays with us and whatever, so that you don't sell it and you don't end up. I mean, he just basically just said, yo, you don't have the paperwork. You know, you can come and get the car, you can keep the car, you can use the car. And I get that. And I'm like, okay, it's his money. He's buying the cars. You know, the terms are his. It's fine. But, like, do you feel like that would dilute the authenticity of the creatives in Zim?
Yeah. There could be a risk of that. But you know what we forget in places where, and this might sound thingy, but it's still someone's right to support whatever party they want.
100%.
So because the majority is against, right, if ever that's the case, right, hey, I've gotten into enough trouble. So if the majority is against, it's easy to then expect everyone to be part of
when
it's their right. If they want to, it's their right. They now have to figure out what that will mean for their career.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with the people who are chilling. You're chilling. You're prayer soul. You're chilling. Next thing, your Instagram notification goes off.
Yeah.
You're tagged by Wicknell. He says, go see Victor. I don't have a problem with that guy. That's fine. It's the ones begging.
Right.
Begging
for that opportunity.
I've always told people everyone has a price. And people thought I was lying. And I said, guys, every person has a price. Just because your price is high doesn't mean you don't have one. Your price could be a Maybach. The other person's price is an Aqua. But everyone has a price. And Wicknell is proving grown men, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Vakuru nanchikumbroti munzwe kuti inini pandakatanga ndiri kumagala. What are you doing, bro?
Begging for a
Grown
car.
men
Yeah.
begging, dog. Like women need to play their part in society. How do you keep laying with this person? How? Kick this dude out, bro. Like, you just watched your man beg another man for a car. And then he's going to come home and say, it's like, no, nigga, dude, I'm so infuriated, bro.
Some will be also waiting for that opportunity, so they won't.
As in the
The
women.
women.
That's why I'm saying they should play their part. Wake this dude up at 5 and tell him, go grind, so that you're not out
That's
here
the grind, bro.
asking another man. Listen,
That is so sad.
listen. Let me say this.
Yeah.
I've solicited for help. Like when I was coming here, right? I knew the journey was going to be tough. I solicited for help in private.
Correct.
Hey man, listen, this is what I'm looking for donations for and whatever. Privately.
So are you saying these guys are tagging publicly?
Yes, they're writing it on their
wow.
pages,
Yeah,
bro.
there was a guy. I think there was an artist who posted and said, you know, I've been part of the party, and my mother used to be part of the party, so I've always been, and whatever. And I mean, like for me, what I think people get caught up with and sort of get easily swayed is exactly what you said. If we believe in democracy, then you must believe in the right for us to be able to just disagree on which political party is the best one.
Yeah.
Right? And still be able to allow that if someone else supports another party and the majority thinks it's wrong, they still have the right.
The right to do so, yeah.
You know? Just because things are tough and whatever doesn't mean that you should not be seen associated with a party. You should actually just still always have a right. And I feel like it's also not a cool thing to sort of bash all of the artists who've received cars and immediately associate them with the party, because they're also just people who are trying to find happiness in their own careers and whatever.
100%.
Yeah.
And then someone just comes and is a well-wisher and they can afford it, and then they say, you know, you drive a car, bro.
Yeah, here's
So
a
you've
whip.
got access to a car. I mean, some of these artists have cars already, but they've just been given like a fancy one.
Yeah.
And you didn't have to pay for it, so you can drive
It's
it. bro.
fine.
Like,
Did you see how Japreza accepted his?
Yeah.
He looked like he's got cars, man. Like
Yes.
he looked like this is just another
He
one.
absolutely-
You know what I mean?
yes.
He was a boss about it. Yes,
Yeah.
he did say,
I'm sure
we
he
do-
went with his entourage, with like Keenan,
With
and his
right.
manager, and they were like, okay, so which cars are we taking to go and pick up the other car?
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. He accepted it like a boss. He's like, oh, come on, man. That makes me sick, bro.
In society, you will always have such.
Yeah, no, but also saying if Wicknell decided he wanted to give me a car, I wouldn't say no. You know what I mean?
Of course.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say no, Wicknell, if you thought,
Just saying.
I'm just putting it out there. Like,
Just putting it out there.
I don't know if
I
there's
don't mind
Victors
any-
in Joburg, but yeah, you can tell me to go see someone in Santon. I'll go. Definitely.
I don't mind the car.
I don't mind. I
So,
wouldn't.
this is a men's podcast, of
Yeah.
course, and we're always speaking about aspects that affect men from a male perspective.
Right.
What do you feel like in the current society is lacking in terms of expression for men right now? I don't know if I can elaborate further. Just maybe what we go through as men, personally.
Yeah.
Or what are the misconceptions?
Yeah.
I would go with the misconceptions and say, what do you feel people don't get about the African male?
Exactly.
So I would double-edged, right? I think both questions can thingy. From what people don't get is they believe we've got it together. We don't. Like we're anxious about tomorrow. Economies are tough. We don't have it together, and things bother us. We're not happy with every situation that's there. We don't agree with everything. But also, I then say on the other end, which is us also as guys need to man up in the fixing of those things, right? So for one, platforms to speak.
Right.
We need to talk to each other. Women have done a very dope job of expressing themselves and, putting their feelings forward. Where they miss the mark, they miss the mark. They're human. But in terms of creating a space for themselves to be heard, they've done a fabulous job at that.
Right.
Who are we expecting to do that for us? We've gone to wars. We brag about the things we've done. Men built the world you live in, but they can't sit and talk. You know what I mean? That for me doesn't make sense, right? It's like, who's meant to build these platforms for us? And we have to be intentional about it.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, and it's from be intentional in saying you have an issue, and the next person be intentional in listening attentively to what this person's issue is and helping. And then it starts from there. You know what I mean? It starts from there. We also need to be men in things that we see are wrong, right? Things that are unfair, right? When women talk about the bear versus the man, it's understanding where they're coming from, right? We're in South Africa right now. It's not safe for women. And that's a fair statement, right? I don't advocate for women. I don't advocate for men. I advocate for kids because they can't speak for themselves.
Right.
I really don't care for adults. When it comes to adults, it's fair. And it's fair to say, I understand where you're coming from, right? I get it. You don't feel safe around men. What can we do to fix that? That's where certain conversations now get interesting. Because then you spoke earlier about the calling each other out.
Right.
When we come to solution finding with certain conversations, they want to be had from one side and they can't be fixed like that.
Right.
So women will consistently say every woman has a story about being either sexually harassed or raped.
And that is so sad.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's sad.
Yeah.
And they say it's with that, it's funny how no man knows a rapist, no man, but every woman has that story.
Right.
The flip side of that is almost every man will tell you that their first sexual encounter was with an older woman. But miraculously, women don't know women that do that. By the age of 13, I had seen 3 women naked. All of them were way above the age of 20. You get what I mean?
Right.
By the age of 13. So if I hadn't done the work, if I hadn't healed, who would I be today?
No.
I would be the cat caller. I would be the whatever. And then we're back to, so if we're then going to have the conversations to fix society, unfortunately, they can't be had in halves. We have to have them in full.
Difficult conversation.
Very difficult conversations.
Open,
But each party has to admit where a thing is a thing. So when men, we say, rape, femicide, it's a thing. They are not being over whatever. It's really a thing. It's unsafe.
really a problem,
It's
yeah.
a problem.
Yeah.
It's just admitting, gents, that no, it is a problem.
Yeah.
Ladies, on the other hand, have to admit that, but this problem starts from somewhere. It didn't just, unless they are then saying that inherently as men, we are born as monsters. That's what then they would be saying. If they are saying there's no problem on the other end, that means we are inherently born as monsters. Then if you are saying we are inherently born as monsters, how do you want us to call each other out? We're not going to hear each other because we're monsters, right? So there is somewhere where this started, and we have to figure all of that out. Guys, the amount of female predators out there is insane.
It is.
And because they don't do it the way we do, we are physical. They don't have the capabilities that much to be physical. They use seduction. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
Preying on little boys. These boys grow up messed up. And what does that do to the ecosystem to get us to now where we are today?
You know, funny enough, I actually had an encounter that I realized like later on in life that, you know what, that woman was actually hitting on me.
Right.
You know, I think I was like 15 or 16. I was waiting for combis around Suffolk Road in Avondale there. Then an elderly woman, I think she was probably late 30s, thereabouts.
Right.
She had a nice M-Class. She passed, then she turned the car around, right? And she came to me, hi, how are you? Fine, how are you? Where are you going? No, I'm just waiting for a combi going into town. She's
Right.
She's like, I can give you a ride. And to me, I was just like, no, it's all right. I'll be good. I'll be good. Are you sure? No, I'm sure. Oh, okay. All right. And she drove off. No, so later in life, I then realized, wait a minute.
Like from nowhere.
This lady actually
that
turned
was
the car.
a little strange.
That was a little awkward. Like, she turned the car around.
Yeah.
Right.
It wasn't even her way where she was going.
Where she was going. Oh, so she saw you on the other side.
Saw
and
me on the
then
other side of the road.
Was willing to change her
I was
route.
going to change her route, take me to where I'm going,
And then,
get back
you see?
to on the route.
Yeah.
So those kind of things that exactly what.
No, I mean,
what
you're
alluded to.
definitely right about that. I remember I was doing a show, you know Mandla?
Yes.
I was doing a show with Mandla's organization, and we interviewed like a lot of people. We interviewed a guy who runs a support group for male prostitutes
Wow.
in Zimbabwe.
Okay.
How long ago was
And this guy is bisexual.
Oh,
How long ago was the interview?
Maybe 2 years now, 3
All right,
years.
all right.
Maybe 3 years. 2 years, 3 years, yeah.
Okay.
And he, like, at first I just thought, I'm, just going to be meeting a lot of people who are in the LGBT community. And that's what I thought.
Yeah.
But we actually had to get training for that show
Okay.
because you needed to sort of understand the language so you don't offend anyone and whatever, right? And then we would actually prepare for the show. So I was the creative director for that show. And so I would sort of kind of go through the questions and then, prepare them and then try and make sure that we don't discuss all the juicy stuff and keep it for the camera. And this guy opened up our minds, like exactly what you're saying, where he says, people have so many issues and there's no place to freely talk about those deep-seated issues, especially sexual issues and sexual preferences. And he was talking about how there's so many married men that find out about them and then they call them on a regular. And this guy can be super masculine, very stable, takes care of his family and his kids and whatever. But that guy actually enjoys it when someone's doing him.
Wow.
And it's some secret little thing that he's got going on and whatever. And he was just, like, I think there was a time where they ended up having like a barbecue and then he just threw out some names
Oh, really?
of like some famous
Notable
and
people.
yeah, exactly. But what it did for me was it showed, Wuti, there's a lot that we don't talk about. And because of that, there are a lot of issues that go unchecked.
Yeah.
And because they go unchecked, we still then have issues where some girl got stabbed. She was on Facebook Live.
Yeah.
She's at university. She was actually on Res.
Yeah, on Riz.
Or that terrible stabbing that everyone saw and no one really could do anything because they were scared. Because this guy looked like he lost it.
Yeah.
And he's stabbing this woman, bro. Like,
broad
and I'm
daylight,
like,
yeah.
how did this guy get to that place? Because it's not just one thing. You don't just wake up and stab someone. You're a little boy when you grow up, but it means that there's stuff that happens to you as you go. And I feel like the more we have these kind of conversations, we sort of start allowing ourselves to be comfortable to actually say, I think I have an issue.
Yeah.
And to find someone who you feel like could be safe and say, I think I have a problem and this is my problem. And I think lately, I've been noticing this problem because I have a lot of cousins and brothers. And I mean, I have one biological brother, but I have a lot of cousins and I consider them the same.
Yeah.
And I've noticed that I don't have a great relationship with most of them
Okay.
because I'm a sharpshooter. I grew up in Bulawayo. In Bulawayo, you speak like this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you direct
Speak
the
your
issue.
mind. Yeah.
You just go straight to it. You know what I mean? And some of them are not.
Okay.
So I'll call you out.
Right.
You get uncomfortable. And then you feel like I can never talk to that guy because he'll just call me out. So I'm just going to do my thing. And then that relationship starts souring. So you don't have anyone who's constantly calling you out.
Yeah.
So you're now in your own world. You're now you're drinking your own Kool-Aid,
Yeah.
right? You're spiraling and you don't have the tools within yourselves to start calling yourself out and say, you know what, I was wrong. Like for Q to say, you know what, the armpit thing, I actually went overboard. Is because you've got a level of maturity to be able to listen to someone else.
Yeah.
Who then calls you out and says, yeah, but Q, but can you look at it from this context and that context and these repercussions?
Yeah.
And then you think, okay, it's because you've got some kind of recourse of being able to say, let me think about what I've done and question it. So you're comfortable with having this conversation with yourself and looking at your actions and actually going through and saying, this wasn't great.
Right.
This was okay. This is fine. This, I'm sure I can do better. I should be able to actually say this publicly that I was wrong.
Yeah.
And I feel like, bro, the number of guys who cannot be told they are wrong.
Yeah.
For me, that's like the biggest red flags. Whenever I'm just considering friends or colleagues or business associates, the moment that someone corrects you on a small thing and you can't just take an L,
Yeah.
for me, I already just immediately think, I'm never going to do business with this person. We're just going to be cordial and whatever, and we leave it at that. Because I'm like, if you can't see what someone else is trying to make you see, then you only see what you see.
Yeah.
And that can only end badly.
Yeah.
It might take a year, it might take 10 years, it might take more. But the damage is crazy, bro. Like some of the family issues that I have to deal with or just hearing are crazy because I'm just like, how are we going to get through to him? Because
You're right.
he doesn't listen to anybody. So how do you correct a guy who's now a family man who actually has money and can afford to do things?
So that's so firstly what I love about what you said is, and I always say this to people, the most difficult conversation to have is with yourself, because you have to be honest with yourself
100%. Yes.
to say, yeah, no, this is me, I did this,
Yeah.
right? But secondly, I'm loving where we are worldwide, where we are it seems like it's fading away, the respecting of people based on where they are in life. Right. I'm loving the fact that, people are now openly talking about your Beyoncés and, these people are like this. There was a time you couldn't. You
question.
Oh my gosh,
Yes.
you talk about such and such. We're getting that out the way, which will help what you're saying, right?
Because now people are questioning P. Diddy.
Yeah, exactly.
Because they're like, what happened at the party?
What happened at those parties? Like, dude, you've been doing these things.
Yeah.
So it's the calling. I don't care what you drive, bro. I don't care who you are. If you we are better.
Yeah.
Like this that you're doing here,
It's messed up.
It's messed up because at the end of the day, unless someone pulls a weak nail and starts handing out, it's your money parked at your house for your kids. So for me to want to kiss your ass over a bank account I'll never get access to and compromise myself for a life I will never get unless I work for it doesn't make any sense, right? So if I see you go off the rails or if you're being disrespectful towards me, I don't care who you are. I'll let you know that, not here. And I'll jump into my bucky and drive off. You get what I mean? And we need that as dudes for each other.
Yes.
Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
For each other, for certain things. Look, I'll give you for me, people's relationships are people's relationships. I'm not going to overly plug myself in your things. Whatever you want to do is what you want to do. That's between you and your wife.
Right.
But if I see you this is uncomfortable, I should be able to say, yo, bro, relax.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's a South African musician that I called out at a joint. He's pressing this girl, right? Pressing her hard they've been hanging out and, she hasn't given it up. And he's loud. I think Drink said, you know what I mean? And so I went to homie and I'm like, yo, my dude, chill out. So after some time, he kind of looks at me and he's like, what are you talking about? And, I'm like, no, bro, what you're doing here is, get the F away from me. And I'm like, oh, finish. Okay. But I've told you.
Yeah.
Yo, chill out. This is not the way to go about this.
Yeah.
And regardless of, because then the rest of the night we were kind of looking at each other And he had seen me stand with comics. So I think he kind of knew that, okay, he must be part of that crew. But for me, it's like, what am I going to lose from having that conversation with you?
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean? Because you are who you think you are. It's like, no, bro, stop doing that.
Yeah.
You know.
And I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah.
Q, are you married?
No.
You're still single, right?
Yeah.
How is that going? The dating scene, like, because the dating scene, like Tino and
In
I,
the modern world.
yeah, Tino and I have been married for like years,
Right.
So we're always curious to know what single men are actually going through, because just from my perspective, just looking at responses and conversations online,
Yeah.
I see a lot of women bashing a lot of men. Sometimes rightfully so, because men can be trash, but women can also be trash.
Oh, yeah. We're all
time.
And
They're getting better at that as well.
yeah, and what I noticed is that both parties sometimes will not be able to see their own wrong. True. So then they start throwing out gaslighting and you know, my feelings were not considered. And I'm thinking to myself, is this really how it's like? Like, how's the dating scene right now?
So one thing we have to be honest about is social media is very different from the real world.
Right.
100%.
Bro, women are caring. Women contribute in relationships. They will, I mean, yes, maybe you carry more, but they do buy gifts. Their gifts may suck, but they, you know what I mean? They're there. You know what I'm saying?
So
Right.
I guess you're saying some women, right?
Well, yeah, okay. Let's do it. The social some women. Yeah, let's not generalize. You know, but it's like that. But you know what? I've also come to think. I think it's all rooted in the trauma that we're all dealing with, right? Black men and black women are yearning for each other.
Right.
They're yearning for each other, but we're failing to communicate it to each other, right? Simply putting all this aside and saying, "I want you. I want you to." That's all we're failing to do.
Yeah.
Okay, you
And
what?
then committing to figuring it out together. No matter how difficult it is.
Yeah,
Because that's the hardest part.
right.
To be able to, because I feel like people don't, like what you're saying, everyone yearns for this ideal relationship. But then some people will say, it doesn't even exist anymore. Because they're afraid to say, I still want that. And to say that to someone and not be sure if it's safe to say it to them, because you're not sure if that guy is going to be like, yeah, but whoever said I wanted you.
Right.
But now it's also because of influence and what, the social media aspect, what they're
100%.
growing and perceiving to be reality.
To be reality. But also, as another thing in the wanting of each other, people need to be honest in there are good women out there, right?
100%. Yeah.
People are going for, we need to call each other out as gents. Gents are going out for a certain type of woman.
The baddies.
The baddies.
The baddies.
You know what I'm saying? There's a world that exists there that operates its own way.
Yeah.
They understand that world. You get in there and you now want to take a baddie and remove her from that and it doesn't work.
Yeah.
Now you're crying with us. Women are. It's like, no. You're a woman. You
Choice.
took her there.
Choice.
It's the same as women with dudes. Right? If you look at the amount of, a large portion of absent fathers have multiple kids. And then you say, what did you think was going to happen? We can't call women out on that.
Yes.
What did you think was going to happen? You thought miraculously on baby number 6, he's going to do the right thing. But we can't call women out on this. It's like, no. Some of the men that you're picking, you are going for this guy. We see it even internationally, how Nick Cannon has how many kids.
Yeah.
They will line up right there. The baller in the club with the V-class and the what. That's what you want.
Yeah.
You get it. It goes belly up.
Yep.
Now it's all men. You know what I mean? So it's those things as well in how we pick our partners. I'll let you know, bro. I've got exes that were good women. Yeah. I've got ex. I'm like, out of these 3, I could have married all 3.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
Right.
I let that go for whatever, whether it was career, it was whatever, but they are there. And then I know dudes who are stand-up dudes.
Right.
You know what I mean? Look, there are things maybe they may do in private that we're not privy to, but from what I can see, they're stand-up guys. And I see their relationships go belly up, and it's the woman. And I'm like, do you know how many chicks would want a guy like this? So Jolo has got no race, no gender that's leading in messing it up. Both of us are.
Yeah.
Women and...
100%.
Just to piggyback off what you're saying about the stand-up guy and maybe your choice of a woman.
Right.
I'm sure you guys, you know the football player Kaká. Brazilian footballer. So Kaká and his ex-wife, right? So they were childhood sweethearts and they were married 10 years and had 2 children before deciding they should get a divorce. She claims that she felt that there was something missing right, in their relationship.
Right.
Because of the Brazilian icon being too perfect.
Oh my gosh.
On the reason for their divorce, she said, Kaká never betrayed me. He treated me very well. He gave me a wonderful family, but I was not happy. Something was missing. The problem was he was too perfect for me.
Yeah. No. You know what we need to do for her?
That's
Throw her a party and say, welcome to the streets. Good luck. Sazonia. Yes.
It's crazy.
Oh, it's
wow.
insane.
That sounds like a lot of trauma that woman is dealing with. Because
That's trauma, that.
for you to get an ideal relationship and life, and then still feel like this is too perfect, it's too nice, I need it's almost like your response is there needs to be some kind of struggle.
Chaos.
There has to be some kind of struggle, and I need it
To
feel alive, whatever. And that is a problem.
It is.
It is. It's a problem.
Psychological.
But so Q, before we round up, I want to know like what projects. I mean, I feel like we could definitely work on a project.
Watch the space.
Yes, exactly. We are definitely going to work on a project together, and we're definitely going to promote it here. So be on the lookout for that.
Yeah.
If you're in Joburg, we're definitely going to be doing something. But I want to know what projects people should look out for.
So the first one is the Laugh Laugh Africa special that's coming out. And then secondly, I have one podcast that I'm starting, a storytelling one.
Okay.
So yeah, it's just storytelling, no interview. So, we sit with you and we say, tell us, you pick whatever story you want to tell us. And then we do that.
That's
and and just listen to whatever story you have. So it's called So This Is What Happened. Okay. And then you get into your story and we roll.
Have you started with that? Or it's
we've shot a couple of episodes. So now we just want to put it, together and the like.
Awesome.
And then, a lot of acting things. There's a movie that I'm trying to get off the ground. That's taking some time, but God willing, something will happen. And then this is predominantly in Zim, yeah?
Okay.
So, so now I'm saying that like this podcast.
Okay.
It's in Zim.
Oh,
It's
okay.
Africa.
It's Africa.
Yes.
Okay, but Zim, please, I would like to come home and crack jokes again. Speaking of the men thing, it really affected me.
Right.
Yeah, it did.
Mentally,
yeah, it did.
I'm
it
sure
really,
it did,
really
bro.
did affect me.
Yeah.
To say, yo, I just messed that up. Yeah. Because also you look at, I think all publicity. What's the term?
Bad publicity
is good publicity.
Yeah.
Good.
There's a time where that was true. Now with the internet, where nothing goes away, anyone can pull it up at any time. I do something dope. They say, but
remember what he said.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I now have to live with that. But I can deal with that as it comes. But with the fact that my people. You know what I mean? My people
that's
were
what hurts the
upset
most,
at me.
yeah.
That didn't sit well with me. So, hopefully come back to Zim. But yeah, do stand up, man.
Right.
Do stand up as much as possible. But the projects we need to do, man, I'm going to push you.
No, definitely.
Yeah.
Bro.
I have to push you guys. Let's do it.
We're definitely going to get on it.
Let's do it.
I miss just being on stage.
On stage, yeah.
I really, this is why, going to Gandor's show was such a big thing for me because I could see myself again. You know what I mean? Because I've been busy with work and life and family and all of that. It's like the prayer soul person is just fading away, you know? And then being able to see a fellow Zim guy on stage entertaining people.
Ripping it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, man.
That's it.
It reminded you.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's me. That's who I am. I'm that guy.
That's
so that is definitely something I'm working.
You're working on.
actively.
Okay. So
Yeah.
I host. You do your 45-minute to an hour set.
Yep.
I come back. I do 10 minutes. You close off with the DJ set.
Absolutely.
That's a night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Watch the space.
Yeah,
That's
definitely.
it. It's done.
We'll do it.
It's done.
Q, thank you so much, bro.
Appreciate you, man.
so much, Q.
This
Do
was a
it.
good. This was a good one.
I appreciate
We're
you.
gonna do. I think we're gonna do like a Zim Creatives special episode where we get Leroy, Q.
Oh, dope.
Yeah, we just get like all of the creatives that
100%.
we've had on the show,
Right.
and then we're gonna do. There's a couple of exciting things that we're
coming.
planning as well.
That's dope, man.
So we're also thinking of maybe even getting a bit of a live audience to join us.
that'll
so
be
that
fine.
we sort of bounce off, and have deeper conversations.
Yeah.
I feel like that will definitely like add a lot of value. But guys,
Fire.
thank you so much for joining us for another
100%.
episode of the African Male Iris, and a big shout out to Q-Dube for coming through.
Thank you for having me. And
Yes.
stop begging Wick Neal for cars.
Yeah, but wishing
And
you all the
so-
best, man. And please
Thank you,
keep
my brother.
inviting us to all your shows.
To the shows,
Yes,
I will.
absolutely.
I will.
Yeah,
Most definitely.
please do.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah,
and
man.
so if you have any requests, thoughts, whatever you'd like to say, messages you'd like to pass on to Q, let us know on our WhatsApp number that comes on the screen. And
All our socials. Yeah.
yeah, and all our socials. Just catch us and send us what you'd like to say. Any questions, any suggestions? Would love to hear that. But thank you so much. My name is Presso, and I'm out.
DJ Tino.
Appreciate you and Q-Dube. Appreciate you, man.
Take care.
The motherland, the African man. Long as I'm alive, I'ma make a plan. Strong hosts to break, got long walks to take, got no votes to make. We don't bet, we pray. Hey, African man, yeah.